This is where the fun stuff actually begins.
I know everyone in the comments is saying, don't put exhaust, I didn't want to hear it without the exhaust. It's a bad idea.
Got a worry here. Let's do that. I'm building it back up and we're going to chop more off the car. Got the dash plugged in there. There was a conversation actually about putting this on the bonnet outside the car. The middle ones are super worn. And then all we've got to do is literally give it a battery, give it fuel, and it's going to run. Not gonna lie, this is a big video and I wish I was way more excited, but right now I am so ill. I'm so ill and it's actually affecting my excitement level for this video. So I don't think my dad, what the hell, this has got even worse since I've started recording. Since I've moved. Since I've moved down south, my diet has just not been as good as it was down south, and I actually think I'm lacking a lot of vitamins. Luckily for me, AG1 have decided to sponsor this video and sent me an absolute care package. So AG1 is a comprehensive and convenient nutritional supplement with over 70 different high quality ingredients just in one scoop. Feel the weight in the scoop. Ow. Why do I need 70 different ingredients, may you ask? I hear you. So I'm going to put on screen just some of the benefits of them in the AG1 package. Come in either sachets, bag like this, and they actually come with one of these to actually put everything in as well. The guys are taking a lot longer than I thought. Ooh, I'm making a mess of this. So I've actually been taking vitamin B12 tablets every day. Luckily AG1 has got the same dose just in one of their sachets, so I don't even need that anymore. AG1 is designed by scientists to benefit your focus and energy, using ingredients like B vitamins and magnesium, healthy aging with the use of CoQ10 and phytonutrients, skin, hair and nails with the use of niacin and vitamin A's, and so much more. Less than 1 gram of sugar per serving, so I thought it was going to taste bland, but boy was I wrong, it's not bland. And setting health intentions is really hard to be consistent. That's why AG1 has been designed to be simple and easy, putting all these ingredients in one scoop, in one glass, in 1 minute. So AG1 are giving you a year's free supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 AG1 travel packs for free when you make your first order using my discount code on the screen, which is drinkag1.com/Lockwood. Head over there to start your order. Morning everybody, here is the Reliant chassis. And here's the Reliant body now. In the last episode, we finished up all of the welding for the engine. So the engine's all welded in, and now we're actually ready to start reassembling the engine and putting the body back on the car. So this is where the fun stuff actually begins. It's been a while since I've actually messed around with the bike engine in terms of taking things off. Luckily though, I have labelled everything, and luckily it's a bike engine, so there's not much to it. So here is the entire wiring loom for the ZX6R engine, and I've literally labelled everything, so it shouldn't be a big deal putting that back on. But one thing we are going to run into a bit of issues with, one thing that's probably going to take the most time, is that obviously a bike engine, you have the clutch and the choke and the throttle all on your hand, and you have the gearing on your feet. We're going to have to flip that round, so we're going to have the throttle and the clutch on our feet, and we're going to have to put the gearing on our hand. What makes that even more difficult is that the bike's on its side. Whereas you're on your bike and you've got, you know, up and down gears are forward and back, they're now left and right. We're gonna have to just use some ingenuity and make it work. I've been looking at all this stuff on the floor thinking, where the hell do we start first? And I don't think there's a good place to start. So I'm literally just going to pick up one thing and start bolting it on. That's the best thing to do in this situation where you've got too much stuff to even think of a plan. Just start.
And the first thing we're going to grab is the exhaust. I know everyone in the comments is saying, don't put exhaust, I didn't want to hear it without the exhaust. Trust me, this has crossed my mind. It's a bad idea. This bike literally pissed off my whole street of neighbours with an exhaust on. We're going to start it up with just a manifold, but I have to put the manifold on, trust me.
Exhaust is on, and that just kind of shoots out over there. We're obviously going to have to make something a bit more permanent in terms of the exhaust, because we're going to have to definitely, I don't know, maybe we don't add a resonator on. We've got the oil cooler on here, so the oil cooler is gone. We need to find out where that's going to go. I literally might just bolt it around and just bolt it to the bottom of this frame. It's out the way then, and it's getting some fresh air. Can't remember how the intake system, how we ran the intake system with the airbox and things like that, and I know there's quite a lot of vacuum lines and stuff, so I'm just going to build up the intake here while it's on the car, and I think I'm going to try and run the stock airbox. I prefer cars and stuff which run stock airbox. I feel like it just runs nicer, and especially a bike car like this, I feel like it's going to be a lot better just to run the stock airbox. So I'm going to build up the stock airbox with the body off the car and put it all back together. And then when I go to drop that, and I think I'm just going to cut some more off the body. I did consider just putting individual filters on here, but I don't think it's going to be a good idea. It's not going to get enough airflow, and I think it's just going to make it run like crap. So I'm going to run the stock airbox and maybe do like a feed through the front of the car. Got a worry here because the airbox is way bigger than I remember. So first of all, we've got this, which would be okay. Like, that's not too bad. That's cutting a little bit more off the body, but that's doable. We're going to put that on top. Now, I wanted to run the airbox mainly because of all the vacuum lines. All the vacuum lines then go in and everything's doing its job. But if we don't run this and we just run individual filters, we're going to have to blank off all of these vacuum lines. And I don't necessarily like doing that because they are there for a reason, and there's a lot of them. I think I'm going to have to just bolt it all up and just cut more away from the body. I think that's honestly the best thing. I'd rather have the engine running correctly and just, like, we've already chopped so much away from the body anyway, it doesn't really matter if we've got to chop some more. So yeah, let's do that. I'm building it back up and we're going to chop more off the car.
So as I'm actually editing this video, I've actually found out some new information about these engines. So this is called a ram air system, and this bike was designed exactly with this intake system, and without this intake system, apparently it runs terrible. It idles well, but it does not run. So I actually don't think we've got any other choice but to put this intake on and just make it work. The next thing, which is a bit confusing, is the throttle cables. On a motorbike, they actually have two throttle cables because you're not just pushing one cable, you're actually twisting with the use of the handle. I'm still not fully sure why you need two, but they have two. But once I'm looking at this, I'm trying to put them both together and I can't physically see what the second cable is going to do. When we have it on a pedal, it's just going to be up or down. So we actually think we can just cut one off and actually just use one of the cables because the second cable isn't really doing anything.
So if we pull the black one, you see, if we pull the black one, that pulls the throttle up and down. This other one doesn't seem to be doing anything because it's not going to, unless it does push at the same time and give it a little bit more, because that is quite stiff to pull that. But I don't think we need the bottom one because we're going to have that on the pedal and we're going to be pushing that and it's going to be pulling the throttle open. Because if we pull this other one, all it's going to do is tighten it. You know, it's going to stop it from pulling. And if we've got that on the pedal, how do we have a turning motion? Unless we literally put that inside the car, but we don't want to do that. We want an actual pedal. So I'm going to keep them both for now, but I actually think we just need the black one. Okay, so this is exciting. So all we've literally got left is the electrical side of stuff and the fuel pump. That is literally it. We still have to find a way of how to integrate a gear changer. So this is the gear changer here, right?
Now, changing gear is actually quite difficult in a motorbike. If you're just doing that by your hand, it's actually quite hard to do. Hence why it's on your foot, and hence why you have this gear mechanism here. So when you push down, it pulls the rod, and when you pull up, it pushes the gear forward. We're going to have to integrate something so that we can actually do that easily with our hand. Now, an easy solution to this would just be to run a cable around that 90-degree frame, and that way when we push the cable forward, it's going to push the gear linkage to the left. My only issue is that gear linkage is really hard to move, and I don't think a normal cable is going to cut it.
Ask someone else who maybe knows a little bit more. I think MK Sports Cars will be good at that. That's literally it. All we've got to do now is just put the wiring back in, which we can do. I'm going to hook up all the wiring because it's just going to be dumped inside the car, really. So I'm going to hook up all the wiring while the body's off, so we can get to all the plug connectors and everything like that. And then all we've got to do is literally give it a battery, give it fuel, which you've got a fuel pump there, and I've already ordered all the fuel lines as well, and it's going to run. I just hope that the fuel pump works, because that fuel pump works as a gravity-fed fuel pump, meaning you've got the fuel tank here and the fuel pump there. So you'll have fuel which just goes into the pump by gravity, and then the pump pushes it. Whereas we're not going to be able to do that with the Reliant. It's going to have to pull the fuel through using obviously the vacuum. We can always just create that vacuum ourselves by just putting the hose lower than the fuel tank, and if we suck it through, then it's going to just keep feeding the fuel pump. So I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. So let's start plumbing up the wiring. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to buy a new starter motor. When I was taking everything off, I tried to undo this nut here, just to, obviously, because I had to get all the wiring off the engine to pull the engine out. And I wish I just unbolted it from here in the first place. Obviously, I had to do that eventually. But it's this little bolt here wouldn't come off. I was trying to get it off, and I obviously loosened it quite tight, and it snapped something. I'm not sure if it just de-threaded or whatever, so I've just took over to the guys over there, and they've said it's probably just snapped inside. So I'm gonna have to get a new starter motor, and that's really annoying because I actually wanted to crank the engine today. It wouldn't start because obviously we've not got no fuel, but I just wanted to crank it and give me a little bit of motivation, and just hear it cranking. It might have even just fired up on like fumes for a split second. Probably not, but whatever, we might have done. Or worst case, we literally could have just like fabbed up like a little fuel tank kind of thing and just ran it like in here, like with stuff the manifold. Actually, no, because we've got no oil. Maybe not. Anyway, I could have got some oil. Anyway, so I'm going to have to buy a new starter motor, unfortunately. I don't know how much they are, but I'm going to get on eBay now and see if hopefully we can get one pretty cheap. Found one here on eBay for 30 quid, so it is what it is. I'm going to just buy a service kit as well, which has got an oil filter and some oil as well. Okay, so we've pretty much got all the wiring done. So we've got the dash plugged in there. There was a conversation actually about putting this on the bonnet outside the car. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it would be pretty lols. We've got some things here. These are for the lights, so I've just kept them for the time being. So we've got indicators left and right, but what we'll probably do is we'll just chop into that and then just send the wires off to individual switches inside the car, if it's going to be that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when am I going to be driving it at night? Do you know what I mean? When am I going to need to be indicating? If it is going to go on the road properly, we can sort that out, but for now it's not really a priority. And then we've actually got the ignition barrel here, which has got the key in, so obviously we'll need to turn that to start it. And then even more so, here is the kill switch. So we've got what have we got here as well? Front brake switch as well, so we can tap into that. So that'll be we can actually make our own brake switch for the car to get brake lights. But this is going to be inside the car. Again, we can cut this and run it to a switch, or we can just send it, put it inside the car. So we've got off, on, and more lights and horns and things. Everything else is plugged into the car. So we've got oil switch, we've got the coils plugged in, the starter motor's plugged in. This is one thing we're going to have to be concerned about. So this is the kickstand. Now, bikes have a safety option where if the kickstand isn't up, it might not let you start the car. On mine, it didn't really make a difference. It still started with the kickstand up. But just to make sure, what we're going to do is we're going to cut these wires and we're going to put them together. That's going to trick the ECU into thinking that the kickstand is down, meaning that it will always start. And we've got a few grounds over the place which we need to obviously make our own ground for. There is a fuel pump which plugs straight in there. Now this does just go like that. I don't know if this pump's going to be strong enough to draw the fuel line, to draw fuel from the lines up. I actually might have to put this underneath the car, at the lowest centre of gravity for the fuel, so the fuel will just gravity feed it into this, and then it'll push it up to there. We're going to have to figure that one out as well. And then it just literally just leads to the ECUs and things like that. I don't know what all of these are, but they're that small that they're not going to cause an issue, so we've kept them. And then you've literally just got the main power cables there and stuff for the battery. And it's literally that simple. Like, that is a bike wiring loop. Now, a big thing I was looking forward to or worried about was if we can actually change the clutches while the engine's mounted into the chassis.
Oh, it was made for it, mate. Absolutely made for it, mate. Well, this is just the bolts.
No! That's so annoying. Ah, that's so annoying. It's going to have to be a body off, engine out job to do any kind of clutches, which it is what it is. It is what it is. Take these nuts off here, take this big bolt off. I've actually got to take off the A-frame as well, because what's happening is when I'm lifting the engine, this is sitting on this case here and it's just lifting the whole chassis with it, so. Is this come off? Yeah. Oh, got it, there we go, that's enough. Got it. Okay, so these are the clutch packs, quite similar to what you'd see in a DSG almost. So we're going to remove them. Can't install the new ones today because we need the oil to soak them in, but we can actually get these out the way and start inspecting them and just have a bit of fun, really. So these 4 springs here, so these are the springs we're going to be changing as well. So we're going to be changing these for stiffer springs, so it's going to feel a lot harder. So first of all, we've got to get these out. Let's take them off evenly so they don't spring and knock us out. So this top clutch plate comes off. Bike people, please let me know if there's a spring that's meant to be there. I have seen some pictures and stuff, and someone's meant to have a spring there, but I don't, so someone will let me know, please. And then we can start pulling the clutches off, which are all coming out together. And there, the clutches. The middle ones are super worn. They're almost stuck together as well, which is weird. Yeah, that's the steel plate. Okay, they're not too bad, but the steel plates don't look in good condition, to be honest. So before we can go any further, I need the starter motor and I need to get my oil. We've actually got the clutches on top of the Reliant there, so I just need to get some instructions, because there's a video I watched online of someone how to do it, and these don't seem as complicated as that. But anyway, so we need to get the oil filter and the starter motor. Hopefully they come in the next couple of days. Once that's on, we're literally going to put all that on, and then we're going to put the body on the car, put the fuel tank in, and we're going to start it. So there's potential that it might actually be running in the next episode, which I'm absolutely buzzing about. I cannot wait. So I love you all, and we'll see you in the next video.